You and Daddy and anybody else who went with
Who
you?
all went with you?
I don't believe there's but two of us.
You and Diddy?
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got way on up, and then the car began to give us trouble and stuff, and we didn't know what it was going to do, and didn't have no money and nothing. And finally, we got this here guy, and he didn't have no way of cutting the chain off and nothing else, and he was in an old one of them old trucks. You see some of them old trucks now with just a cab up there, and the rest of it's truck. Anyway, we got that thing all tied up and everything, and started off up through there, and our knots would come untied or something, and finally we was way back down yonder, and he was still willing to pull us on, and we'd go get it, and we'd wind up. We finally kept going a little at a time, till we got into Nashville. Well, we thought, man, things are going to be all right now. So we had, just as we got into there, bang, something happened to the car. We didn't know what in the world happened, nothing else. And finally they said if we could get the car up, they had a thing that went around and around and around to the top floor.
Parking garage.
Yeah, they could probably tell us whether or not it could be fixed and stuff like that. Well, we had to write home to your people to get some money, because we didn't have no such money as that, and here we was way off up there. But bringing us in up there, that chain was so long, the guy couldn't cut it off, and we was way back down there, and he was way up there pulling us. And finally, one time there, we wiggled a steering wheel or something, it went off sort of like it was going to turn over down, and well, you talk about praying and crossing your fingers, we did that. We knew we had to get on up there, but we got there.
So y'all were actually pulled around and around a parking garage going up to get to a shop somewhere up 3 or 4 levels
That's
up.
the reason we had to go up there, is to see if we could get it fixed, said the guy Mike could fix it. Well, to start with, he didn't act like much he wanted. He said, well, we'll talk more about it. He was going to lunch then, so we had to sit around there and watch. And we had, going up that thing, one of us had to get up around the curve, and we come on a little time to get up there. We just was lucky to get on up there on that main floor.
Wow.
But anyway, they looked at it and come and telling us what all it would cost to get fixed and stuff, and that's when we had to call the family and tell them what kind of problems we was in. And,
you know, Ralph wired home and got the money from his mom or sisters to have the engine rebuilt, I believe the way Diddy said.
Yeah, because they took the old engine with him and went back down where they worked on them. And then when we come out, that's when they said we could get so much for the old engine, we'd have to carry it up that stair thing. And so we got it in the back of that old car. And before we got to where we was going to carry it, that cotton picking old engine, they said we could get so much for that, you know, and it rolled out of that thing. And on our man, we had to pick up that engine. Not only that, we didn't have no way to tie the lid down to keep it in there. And so I thought, well, I'll just run over there. I said, that store may have some kind of rope or something. He didn't have a rope. He had this old cord that they used to pull the windows up and down, and they had metal inside of them. So we had to take the whole piece, and we got out there, and we had, goodness gracious, we tried to tie that on. Every time we tried to tie it, that old stuff didn't tie in a knot where it would stay tied. We just kept pulling and tying, and people just blowing horns all the way back to Greenville again. It sounded like, and we couldn't go nowhere, and they was calling us all kind of names and all, and we was doing the best we could. And we had got the old engine van, we had it in there then, had it tied in, and we had this old rope. Well, we didn't need all the rope after we got it tied in, but we couldn't cut it because it had wire in the middle of it. We had to try to roll all that there. The man was lucky to let us have that thing, because if we'd had to buy all that there rope, he said all he had was this old window stuff, and we finally got it in there, and then we had to get rid of all that there was on the ground because we couldn't cut it. So we come and cramming a little hole on this side and a little hole on this side of the engine where we got it. And then We got on up there, boy, we felt like we were nearly home, man. But
Where did this happen, where you had to tie
in Tennessee.
in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Coming back from Nashville?
That was
Well,
in Nashville.
we're still going into Nashville.
Going
We
in?
was- Yeah, we was almost where we was going.
Okay.
But anyway, that cord, I had to watch it going all the way around up there. And then when we tried to stuff it all in the back of that car, you couldn't cut it off. We had to stuff a little here and a little here and a little here, and we just kept trying to get all that rope up in there. We didn't want all that dragging down.
So you finally made it into